Welcome to the Pulse of Jonesboro. I'm Jeremy Terrell, and today is episode number 5, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. Great success so far. We've had lots of people tuning in and listening, and we look forward to a great future here on the Pulse of Jonesboro. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the inner workings of Jonesboro and really start to see if I can't help push the needle at people coming together. And when I say that, who is that and what is that? And it's made up of the city, the chamber, our schools, big businesses, things like that. They're not working together. They're actually working against each other in a lot of ways. And I'll give you a few examples of that during this episode. But we got to change. We got to move in a different direction. And I hope that you guys share this episode, and I hope it gets to a few people that it needs to, some of the leaders in our town, and maybe they'll reach out to me and really start to talk about what it is that they're doing and why, and the reason why they believe that it's positive for Jonesboro. And hopefully they do that before I start giving my opinion on what it is that they're doing and why that they're moving us in a direction that I believe, and I believe that the majority of the city believes is in the right direction. So let's get a little bit of some of this in this episode and talk about a few things that are specific. I'm not 100% sure why in my meetings in the last month or two, in those meetings, and people just be aware that I'm never going to divulge any meetings that I've had and give out names. The only way that would happen is if they don't mind me saying it or give me the approval. But I have been in meetings over the last couple months, and we've been talking about the direction of Jonesboro. And the understanding is that there's our organizations that are made up to move Jonesboro in the right direction. They don't work with each other. Egos get in the way, and a lot of infighting or no talking or whatever it may be. And that's just not right. If you're in a leadership position in Jonesboro, whether elected official or indirectly, you need to be working with everybody that's involved in our city and moving in the right direction. I'm not 100% sure why that is, other than ego and agenda. Certain people have certain agendas. One of those agendas that we can talk about is, does our city want to move us in a green way? We can look that up and talk about it. Want to make us less dependent on cars and more dependent on walking or biking or whatever. The problem with that is that's not what the people want. So if that's your agenda in these sidewalks that you're putting in that are like runway strips and things like that, if that's what your agenda is, then number one, you need to be telling the people that. And number two, if the people don't want it, you need to stop it. So city, people, the elected officials, why are you putting in sidewalks that are the size of my driveway, and why do you keep doing it in a manner that makes no sense, and why are you doing it? What direction are you wanting to take us? Right now we got a road going down Culver House, a road that's as big as a road. Why do we have a sidewalk going down Culver House? And why didn't we think about, oh wait, we'd have to tear down this tree that's the biggest tree or the oldest tree, at least that's what I hear in Jonesboro, and let's take it over a block or two, and then we'll bring it back over. That's infrastructure, that's extra money, that's things that we shouldn't be doing as a city, and you should be wiser about it, like in the front of this, not as we go. None of us in the business world could do what you're doing as a city. We couldn't say, hey, we want to do this. Oh, but we don't know exactly how we're going to get from point A to point B. You know, when we get halfway through, then we'll tell you if we got to make some adjustments and go over a couple blocks, we'll do that. Y'all wouldn't let us do that, so why are you guys doing it? All the green people, don't get mad at me. I think God gave us this planet, and we need to take care of it, period. It has nothing to do with green or not green. I sell solar for a living. This is about budget. This is about what people want. This is about meeting the people in their needs, and we have sidewalks that nobody uses. And I don't want to say nobody, but the percentage is, I bet it's not even 1%. But we keep putting them up, and now we're deviating because we didn't think through it, and now we're having to do massive amount of infrastructure, and we're going to move the sidewalk, and we already have. We're going to move it over a block, and then we're going to come back. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. You guys keep doing you, and then I'll just keep pointing out the stupidity. So what are we doing as a city? If you want us to become more dependent on walking and less dependent on cars, which we are a car dependent city. We are the second largest landmass city in the state, I believe. Definitely within the top 3. But I think we're number 2. And we're car dependent. And the thing is, we don't want to not be car dependent. We like our cars, and mind driving. We prefer to drive. The majority of us would rather drive than walk or bus. So, at 99.9%. If you're trying to move us in a green direction, why don't you tell us? So at least we know what we're fighting. Right now we don't even know what we're fighting. That beautiful yellow stripe that y'all put in, I don't know, several months ago is already gone. So that was a waste of money. But what is it? What is the agenda? What are you doing? That's just one of many things that we're doing as a city that nobody really knows why we're doing it or what the purpose is. And it's just it's one of those things that the city's not out there talking to the people to find out what in the world they want to do. They've got an agenda, and they're trying to push that agenda. Another one is, I had some talks back in the summer of last year, I believe it was, and a big group went out to Fort Smith, I believe, and looked at a tech school. And everybody that went really wanted to bring it to Jonesboro. It was grand, gave a lot, especially to a community like we are. Fort Smith has some similarities there, where we have a lot of manufacturing, a lot of things that go on within technical type education, and they come in, and this is firsthand conversations with people in secondhand. And as far as I know, they flew over there in a group and they flew back, and everybody that was on that plane thought that this was great, and this is something that we needed to move Jonesboro towards. Somewhere in the midst of landing here back in Jonesboro and presenting this, it no longer became a great idea. Why is that? Who got involved? What was the conversations? There's some, I don't really know. All I know is what most of them speculate and what I speculate. And basically it got squashed because there's a few that didn't want to be interfered with in certain areas that already is taking place in Jonesboro. For a very small percentage of people, they squashed something that would be incredibly great for Jonesboro. Doesn't make any sense, and nobody came forth and really gave a great reason on why that was squashed. We should be as technical of a city as possible. If we want to catch up, or if we want to set ourselves apart, or whatever it may be, why in the world would we not want to do something like that? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. But those that were in charge, you know how to get in touch with me. Why don't you give me a call and tell me why that happened? We do things within the chamber, made up of a bunch of great people. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I know some of them personally, some of them friends, and they do some great things with some of their committees. Some of their committees raise great money for great causes and things like that. But as far as just moving us in the direction business-wise, we've been doing the same thing I moved back in 99 and have been self-employed since then and been members of the chamber. And guys, listen, if you don't like what I'm saying, give me a call and tell me otherwise. But the majority of the people that I talk to that are members of the chamber, as far as businesses goes, we don't know really what we're getting for our money. And that you may have an answer for that. I'm not 100% sure, but you could definitely reach out and tell me what that is. But we just want to make sure that you're moving us in the right direction. One of the things that you guys say is that you want to be the front door, and I think that's a great way to look at it. But I've never received anything from you guys in the mail or anything else, or when I've been a member talking about the businesses of Jonesboro, talking about what they provide, talking about, hey, if you're looking to do something for families, these are the things that Jonesboro offers. Hey, if you're looking for this types of food, this is what Jonesboro offers. hey, if you're looking for different types of work, this is what Jonesboro offers. I've never seen any of that from the chamber. And maybe the chamber says that's not their role. I think it is. And so you've been operating the same way for many years. I think one of the other slogans is we're the same since 1912, or I'm not sure, 1918 or something like that. And that's well and good, but we got to move, we got to shift, and we got to start doing what's best. And you got to start communicating with other people, other organizations, and start figuring out what it is that we need collectively as Jonesboro. And again, that's one of the big things that we're struggling with as a city is all the heads of different organizations that really drive Jonesboro. They don't communicate, they don't talk to one another, they don't get along. Everybody's got an ego and they believe what's best for Jonesboro, or hey, don't tread on me because this is the way we've done it for years and years. And it's kind of like whether we're a wet county or a dry county. We're the wettest dry county in probably the United States, and that's because the people have voted over and over again to be a dry county, and yet the city and other groups, maybe even the county, they don't listen to the people and they just give out permits, alcohol permits, to anybody and everybody for the most part. Some get turned down, but not very many. I haven't seen very many that have come through that have gotten turned down lately. And you can go out and have a drink just about anywhere. Definitely on any major road that we have. Main Street, Southwest Drive, Highland, Caraway, Stadium, and more have many liquor licenses that are given that we can go and get a drink wherever we want and whenever we want. But we're going to remain a dry county. Why is that? Those of people that are in charge, not elected officials, but maybe money or have been pushing the process of Jonesboro, they don't want to be, because they make a ton of money off of staying dry instead of sharing the wealth and the love. I prefer to stay dry. I don't drink. If the people vote to stay dry, then stay dry. Be incredibly selective of who you give a liquor license to. Doesn't make any doggone sense. But if you want to be wet, then push it and tell what are the benefits of being wet. But don't play the game of, hey, we've got a few groups that really make an absolute fortune being dry, and they drive the process of whether or not we're going to be wet or dry. It's funny. I talk about a lot of different organizations and directions that we're going, city and not city groups, and only a very few have reached out to me. One of those is Jerry Morgan. We're going to have Jerry on an episode here in the future, and we get to ask him some tough questions, and he's willing to do that. One of the things about Jerry is that he really believes that the Sports Center is going to bring a great sense of value to Jonesboro. I'm at a point where it's like, hey, the place is coming. We've got to make sure that it's, one, that it has all the things that we need in order to make sure that it's successful, and two, it has to be successful. It's our money being put into something that, will it bring value to Jonesboro? Absolutely. Will it be run right? That's to be seen, but it absolutely has to be run. Does it have everything that we need? I don't know. It looks like it's getting close. Things like the pool is so important to the kids of Jonesboro that compete. We have state champions, lots of state champions that come out of Jonesboro, and they do it out of pools that are not even adequate to train in, and this will be the first one that has it, and I think that's great. I'm a huge advocate for getting involved in sports and other things in school, band and stuff, that the statistics are those that get involved in those areas are way more successful later in life. And our swim has been struggling. We've got Jets and a couple of other ones, and they do great jobs with the limited ability that they have. And so hopefully this brings way more ability to do that, but we got to make sure that it's ready to hold and host tournaments. Does it have a warm-up pool? I hear from people that is absolute. Jerry, if you're listening, make sure it's got a warm-up pool. Things like that. In order to host tournaments, it's got to have a warm-up pool. But we're going to have Jerry on, and we're going to talk and ask some hard questions, and he's going to defend their decision and the reason why they're going in the direction that they're going. But he's one of the only few that I have mentioned in podcasts that I did one several years ago, and he said, I had an email that the very next day, he said, hey man, let's get together and talk about the reasons why we believe that this is a good thing. And when we did, we met several times, and he really laid it out. And we didn't have to agree on everything. He stuck by it, and he's willing to show the numbers and the reasons why he believes that it's the right thing for Jonesboro. But I don't see that with anybody else. I really don't. He's one of the few, that the A&P is one of the few that has stuck by why they believe that this is a great thing for Jonesboro. And the A&P is incredibly important, just like the chamber is incredibly important. Just obviously our city elected officials are incredibly important, but there's a lot of inner workings behind the scenes, and it's made up of a bunch of egos that think that they know what's best for Jonesboro, or they're working for themselves. The reason why the technical school is not coming here, that is a pure selfish reason. There's no reason why we shouldn't be getting that technical school. People were bought in, groups were going to invest in it. In my opinion, I believe it would have been a done deal if everybody would have came collectively to the table and said, yeah, this is a great thing to do. And we probably would have been breaking ground right now on a technical school that would have brought incredible value to Jonesboro. We're moving in a direction, whether we like it or not, technologically. And why in the world would we want to make Jonesboro one of the hubs of that? Doesn't make any sense. So if you're one of those people that made that decision and you don't like what I'm saying, give me a call. I know that you know how to get in touch with me. Same with the chamber. Chamber, if you don't like what I'm saying, get in touch with me. Let's talk about it. Those of you that are behind the scenes that are making moves in Jonesboro and have a great influence and you don't like what I'm saying, get in touch with me. Let's talk about it. Hopefully you'll do that before I decide to have an episode where I talk about it. I don't want to do that. I'd rather have conversations about this and then bring information to an episode where we have facts and ideas, and then we can argue about the ideas and hopefully find some common ground. But all this backdoor stuff that goes on in Jonesboro, which is way more than it ever should be, and it's being done at the taxpayers' expenses. The reason why this podcast is being done is because we're fed up. There's a huge population of Jonesboro that's fed up, and we're going to be heard, and we're going to hold everybody accountable, and we're going to talk about the inner workings of going on within Jonesboro that are shady or aren't done in a process that should be done. And we'll keep moving that direction until those that are in the positions to make a difference start making a difference for everybody. Case in point, 2 city councilmen had a town hall this last week. Unbelievable, or a week ago. Unbelievable. People showed up, interaction, great conversation. I wasn't there, but I got a lot of feedback, and sorry I missed it. I'll try to make any other ones that happen, which they should. Those of you that haven't had one need to take a lesson from the 2 that just did and understand how important they are. Valley View being one of them. Those of you that are city councilmen representing Valley View, you need to go and make sure that Valley View understands the way that you guys are voting and the direction that you guys see Jonesboro in the way that it's moving, instead of just running over everybody over there, which is what's happened in the last 6 to 8 months. And have town halls, listen to the people. You're supposed to do the will of the people in your great, wonderful zones. And so start doing it. Help us understand why you vote the way that you vote. Help us understand why you go in and you don't ever ask any questions and you just do a vote. How do you get there? And deal with the people that elected you in a manner that's important. Start running for the people. And then, those of you that aren't elected, that have a huge sway in what's going on in Jonesboro, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Again, I can harp on Kreth all day long. Kreth should have went down Washington, but rumor is that ASU wanted a street. If we're going to do something like that, they'd love to see the clock tower as you're going towards the school. Does that mean put it down an area that shouldn't be put down? Absolutely, that means don't do that. But that's not what we do. We're like, oh, okay, we'll put it down this area just so people that are walking that don't use it can see a clock tower of the school. Yeah, that's cool. That's just not using taxpayers' money wisely. So if we had an abundance of rich people that wanted to just flood us with, like Fayetteville does, or that area, billionaires and billionaires that want to put up tons of money, great. But we don't have that. So it's our money being spent. So start spending it wisely. And those of you that are in power, start working with one another. Start picking up the phone and putting your ego aside. Start working with one another. The mayor, you need to make sure that the organizations that are in this town and the people that are leading these organizations work with one another, which means you have to work with them and be the leader that we need. Don't let other people lead and then come to you and tell you what you're supposed to do. And at some point in time, we've got to move Jonesboro in the right direction. And we're going to push it. This podcast is going to be that driving force that's going to say, listen, you're on the wrong side of the road here. This isn't what the people want. The people want this, and this is what's best for the people, and start doing it. We're going to hold people accountable. We're going to make sure that those of you guys that are making decisions based upon what's best for you and not what's best for us, we're going to let people know about it. And hopefully, that's not to be mean. That's not to be like, hey, drive anything other than stop. What is Jonesboro's future based upon the people that live here and what they want? And then it's your job to go out and make sure that's what's done, what the people want, and the best way to get there under the constraints of the finances that we have as a city. And I'm not just talking to the elected officials, because with all due respect to most of them, they're not driving anything. The driving forces is that we all know who they are. We'll talk about them in the future. If you think you're one of those, you may want to give me a call and we could talk about it so that I'm not just blindsiding you. I know that there's a fight going on with the old landfill, and we're going to really dive into some of those numbers and see what's legit and what's not, and really give information out to the people. There's other things like that are going on with the inner workings of Jonesboro. Guys, thanks for tuning in today. We love you. We appreciate your support. Numbers are great. Lots of people are viewing. Continue to view, continue to share. We have such great things coming. We're going to develop a platform where we're going to give out a ton of information, real information that you can go to our website and really see the inner workings of what's going on with Jonesboro. We're going to ask for support, very minimal support. If you like what we're doing, donate $10 a month, $20 a month, or if you want to sponsor an episode, we'll have ways to do that, or if you just want to give one lump sum. Because moving Jonesboro in the right direction is going to take a little bit of effort and a little bit of time, a little bit of money. And we just want to see Jonesboro moving in the right direction. We really want to make sure that this is a podcast for you, for the people, and that those in charge around town and around Jonesboro are really listening to us. And I'm going to try to be your voice. And so if there's things that you guys want to hear that I'm not talking about, please put it down in the comments on Facebook and other areas. Give us some information. And we're going to be that group that really brings true, real information that really pushes and moves Jonesboro in the right direction, so that we can look back 10 years and say, yeah, we moved in the right direction, not in the wrong direction. And that's what we're here for. So tune in and share, and we really appreciate all that you guys do each and every day for yourselves and for your town, and keep up the good work. We'll see you next week.
I bet you're asking yourself, how can I support the Pulse of Jonesboro? I really want to. Well, I'll tell you, there are lots of different ways. First and foremost, we greatly appreciate prayers on our behalf. Thank you to all those who are already praying for us. Secondly, please like and share our videos on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. This helps us get the word out and helps us grow. And finally, our least favorite thing is to ask for financial support, but it takes money to make all this happen, from improving sound quality and lighting to video production and marketing. Please visit our website, thepulseofjonesboro.com. None of this is possible without followers like you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and God bless each of you.